Horror Lies.
Hey guys, Raffin, Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at Body Bags. Wrapping up what is August and week 566. It is a theme week. It is my week. Therefore, I went with something new. I don't think Body Bags ever really has covered in a theme week, and that is cult horror. We'll call it Cult Horror Volume 1. So, we may come back to this again. You never know. Unfortunately, as I've mentioned in past reviews, I think I am working way out ahead of myself. So this is, basically going to be uploaded to drop more than a month from now. Just August is an absolutely insane time for me. And I like to try to get things out ahead a little bit so I can not have so much to worry about. I think you can understand that. But unfortunately, dealing with this was my pick. It's never been done before on pretty positive it hasn't been done before. If it has, it was only one time, but I don't think so. God told me to. It's funny. I did this purposely. If you remember last week was the Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. So I kind of, pit those two titles against one another. The Devil Made Me Do It. God told me to. Yes, it was planned. I did that. But I only got one viewing. This is a Larry Cohen film from 17. Wow. I don't think they were making movies back then. 1976. I was just 6 years old. And I don't really have any recollections of this, although except when I was old enough to scrounge through the video shelves. Of course, this was some cover art that you just couldn't miss. And I don't remember renting it per se, but I do remember. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing the box art and just going, hey, yeah, that looks pretty weird. But this is my latest in my Blue Underground DVD series as well. Series, I say. My collection of, it's my little hobby. And I got my eyes on another one. So this is number 23 in my set of Blue Underground DVDs, which just happens to be something, I'm into. But I do have my eyes on another that would be number 24. At some point, I do want to make a video on that, just to kind of show them off. But Larry Cohen, New World Pictures, Roger Corman. This is fresh off. Of course, we did a show, a Roger Corman show for Body Bags. Of course, this is way back, and we would have since did another show by the time this drops. But being that this is Monday and Saturday was July 13th, I had plans on revisiting this again, but I chose not to simply because the opening scene involves a sniper from, I want to say is he up on a water tower or just up on a building? And it's pretty horrific. There's a couple moments in here that are pretty horrific, and it really begins as a sort of cult flavored type film, but then it does this really weird 180 turn and it becomes something completely different. And the only thing that really I was gonna say the reason why I didn't revisit this, and I probably won't for a while, because July 13th just happened 2 days ago, and I think people would understand, that just happened. I don't want to see that scene played out again. Bad enough I see it right there behind me on the screen, and it's just it's one of those days. They happen in history, and you never look forward to it. All you can hope is something good will come out as we move forward as a society. I'll say that, as a society. That kind of violence really has no place, ought not to have any place in our society. So I guess by the time we get to this video dropping, a lot of time would have been spent. And so, who knows where we will be just a month from now. But But I can talk about this because the movie was trippy. Like I said, everything I read, and I didn't like do a real deep dive on this thing. It seemed like it would fit a cult horror week good, and we have a string of killings that open up or carry us through the beginning of the film, and they all seem to be acting very randomly, except for they'll say before they either take their own life, are killed, or are arrested, they always say, God told me to. So there seems to, be working under the surface, or not so under, kind of a comment on perhaps religious fanaticism, cults, and the power of persuasion, and how people will and can do the things they do is scary. But as I said, it takes a really weird 180 where it dumps all of that for something really bizarre, and that is, something more involving extraterrestrial, a couple of virgin births, two characters who will, Peter, played by Tony Bianco, who will ultimately pit off against what we learn is his extraterrestrial brother of sorts, character by the name of Bernard Phillips, played by the one and only Richard Lynch. And man, he tell you, that is a weird character. Weird. An Aphrodite type makeover where he thinks he is going to basically repopulate the human race. It is just weird, man. It just goes into some really weird areas. But Peter's character, who is a police detective who is investigating these apparently all random deaths, is having a serious conflict of interest in that he is a pretty devoted Catholic who goes to Mass every week, but being confronted by these people saying, God told me to, and then feeling as though something in his life just does not add up right. And then once we take that weird 180 turn and this movie becomes something a whole lot different than what it starts off to be, he'll track down his birth mother, who, has stated that she was, this is like the world of the X-Files, she was pulled up by some beam of light and impregnated apparently by an alien extraterrestrial force of some kind, and will give birth to Peter, who thinks he knows who he is throughout most of his life, but will have this will be a shell shock to him. Richard Lynch's character is playing somewhat of a messiah-like cult leader who has this able to have this persuasion over people where he can cause them to pretty much do whatever he wants them to do, go out and kill others on his behalf, or kill themselves or whatever. And maybe the most disturbing scene is when Peter is investigating. He's interviewing a guy who is caught alive, arrested for the killing his wife and his kids. It might have been just one child, but I think it was two. It was two, yes, because the daughter ends up hiding herself in a closet, and he tells this story, and and it's right out of that movie, Romero's The Crazies. And he tells this story, and he says it so, like, as a matter of fact, and almost with joy in his heart, how it all happened, how he did it. It might be the most disturbing moment in the entire movie, outside of the opening sniper shots and some of the other things that are taking place. But that's when the movie is portraying itself as something that ultimately it will not be. And when that rug gets pulled out from under you, and then you're faced with something completely, I think ultimately in the end, the film undermines itself as a result, by becoming something way too weird. Now, I mentioned Peter's mom when she's telling him this story. And this is something he doesn't even know who his mom is, I think, and he has to like track her down. This is, you know, getting towards midway, 3/4 in or whatever, and he finally catches up with her, finds her, and as she's telling him the story, she's of course remembering back to this abduction. And when she's lifted up into the ship, I just broke out laughing so hard. This may be the one moment that undermines the credibility of the entire film. She is literally pulled up into, I'm just going to call it the way it is, Eagle 1 of Space 1999. That is stock footage lifted from the series Space 1999. In fact, the so-called room where the impregnation happens is the tunnel network in which transports the characters of Space 1999 from one part of the moon base moon base installation to another part. And so, you know, I just covered two full seasons of Space 1999, and so that is very, very fresh still in my mind. And to see it, and to see that, I just thought, what a incredibly weird spin-off story that would have been for an episode where they somehow end up at Earth and decide they're going to try to change the course of history by abducting some woman and impregnating her, and so that her offspring will change the course of human. I don't know. That's how weird this movie is. I don't know. I wonder what people really would have thought about this at the time. It does sort of find itself fitting in with other films, sort of its like, but like I said, when it takes its 180 turn, it's tough. It's tough to take it serious anymore. So I don't know what else to say about it. You know, I'm glad I have it as part of my Blue Underground collection. I've been wanting it for a long time, actually, just to have it in there. Never expecting in a million years stock footage being lifted from Space 1999. That is, yeah, interesting to say the least. Larry Cohen, if you're not familiar with him, he directed the It's Alive trilogy, Q, The Winged Serpent, The Stuff, Return to Salem's Lot, which I wasn't aware of. But he also was the producer on the Maniac Cop trilogy, and of course Uncle Sam, which is interesting. So, yeah, and Larry Cohen unfortunately left us back in 2019. So rest in peace, buddy. So for Cult Horror Week, I wish it really ultimately stayed the course as a film. Because now I kind of feel weird that I picked it for Cult Horror Week. But, I mean, most of the movie acts like it. So, you know, it is kind of what it is. But, so there you go. Week 566, God Told Me To by Larry Cohen. 1976 film. And, yeah, if you want to see something really weird, boy, it's weird. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream. We might be useful to